Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Martine's Musings podcast. I'm your host, Martine Felton. And how's everyone doing today? I hope that you all are doing well. Before I bring on my guest, I wanted to talk about what I have going on right now. First, I wanted to remind everyone about my book, my latest book, which is a teaching memoir, and it is titled You Love, You Learn. And it is available on my website right now, still. And it's also available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. So if you haven't picked up a copy, go ahead to my website and pick up a copy. Specifically, I'm saying at my website because if you order from me directly, that gives me an opportunity to sign your book and you'll have an autographed copy. And also, while you're at my website, go ahead and register for my free 3-day masterclass on how to disable your limitations. I will be going into how to identify your limiting beliefs and how to let them go, how to get rid of them, what to do to work towards that whole process. So just go on to my website, martinefelton.com, and you'll find out all the information you need about my book and about my free 3-day masterclass. So my guest today is Olivia Grace, and she is a manifestation coach. Hello, Olivia.
Hello, Martine. Hello, everybody.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm happy to be on here with you.
Oh, cool. So we're going to talk all about manifestation, right? Manifesting.
Yes.
And that is what you do. You're a manifestation coach and you help people, and I'll let you finish.
I help women break through their perceived glass ceiling and break through their blocks and perceived limitations to achieve their next life and their next level in life, love, and or business.
Oh, okay. So how did that all come about for you?
It was kind of something that I've been doing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just talking with people, initially I wanted to be a marriage counselor because I used to talk with people about relationships, and I saw that I had a gift of just seeing different perspectives and kind of getting others to see that perspective and understand each other better.
Right.
Then I learned about manifestation and the law of attraction. And I just immediately was just obsessed with it and spent a lot of time researching it and understanding it. And then it became really important to me to help people with their relationship with not only others, but their relationship with themselves and their relationship with the universe, and how all of those things come together and how you can use that relationship to create great things into your life and break through suffering, break through limitation, and just create a life beyond your wildest dreams. So that's kind of how I got into everything. I found out about coaching and I was like, well, I can coach people to manifest. And that fit a lot better for me than counseling did. So.
Yeah, I feel like now that I know about manifesting back in my 20s, I believe that I was a really good manifester, but I didn't know it because I knew nothing of it. But I feel like as I've gotten older and gone through things and certain traumas and stuff, it's really harder for me now to manifest because I feel like I'm so attached to what it is that I want that it kind of blocks the manifestation from coming in.
Yeah.
Can you speak about that a little bit? How those blocks tend to happen?
Absolutely. Really, what a block is just a belief that you have that is in opposition to the desire that you have. The reason why it was so easy for you to manifest without you knowing is because we are technically already master manifestors. That's what my coaching is called, master manifesting. And that's why I just wanted to help people to, it's like we're already doing it.
Yeah.
everything that you're experiencing in life, the good things, the bad things, everything in between is a creation. So I just figured, why not really just master that and do it in a way that is best for you? And getting rid of blocks is definitely probably like one of the top priorities of doing that.
Yeah.
And as you go through life, like you said, we go through things, and when we go through things, we assign meaning to those things. So it's not so much what we go through that ruins it for us, but it's what we think about what we go through and what we think that means about us, and so we take
Mm,
on kind of like an identity that, okay, this thing happened in my life, so that means that I'm not worthy, that means that I'm not good enough, that means that I'm not smart enough. And those beliefs, like those kind of core beliefs, will definitely block your manifestation every time.
yeah.
um, and it's interesting because children and young people are really great at manifesting because they have this kind of sense of deserving. We look at children, we're like, you're spoiled, you want everything, and it's because they know that they deserve everything. They don't have anything, and that's opposing that belief yet.
That's
So yeah.
interesting. Yeah, when you speak about children and even younger, like younger adults who haven't really gone through, things or traumas and stuff, they're such really great manifestors because they're like, they go out there and get it, and it happens, and they're very like they know that they deserve it and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, because I've seen that happen firsthand with my kids. My older daughter, I really feel like she just like gets jobs like
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And I tell her, I'm like, you are a really strong manifester and you don't even like, she knows it. But I noticed that about her. Like, she'll manifest a job and she wants it. It'll, the opportunity will present itself and she'll get it. And I'm like, wow, but I remember being that way in my 20s too. That's what I was talking about. Um, but like, like I said before, like when you get older and you go through things, it gets a little much trickier. How do you, like, let's say if I wanted to manifest a certain amount of money, what is the basic manifestation concept for that entail?
So it really depends,
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on your relationship with money. And this is what I'm finding. The deeper that I get into manifestation, I'm finding that it's just so much more simpler than we make it. Um, so one, of course, you want to check your beliefs around money. And you can kind of feel into why, if it's a large amount of money, why does it feel unavailable to you? What is your story around money? Is it that there's never enough? Is it that you feel like it's going to change you as a person? Is it that you're afraid of, people being taken away, or afraid that you won't be safe with a lot of money? It's
Mm-hmm.
really like you have to kind of figure out what is blocking you from that first. Then kind of just knowing that it's possible, knowing that this can happen for me. It doesn't matter if it hasn't happened for me before. It doesn't matter if it hasn't happened for anyone I know. It doesn't matter if it's something that just seems so out of reach. But when you really are in tune with the expansiveness that is you, that is expressing itself through you, then you know that nothing is impossible for you. Um,
Right.
and truthfully, when it comes to manifesting anything, like a lot of us put certain things on a pedestal, and those are the things that become out of reach for us, the things that we feel like are up here and that we are down here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you manifest, I don't know, a free parking spot, you think to yourself, I'm going to have a free parking spot, or a front parking spot. You just pull into it,
Right.
and it happens instantly like that. But then it's like, oh, I'm going to manifest $15,000. And it's like, well, how is that going to happen? And when's that
Mm-hmm.
going to happen? And where is that going to come from? And who am I to have that? And all these other stories, rather than just, I'm setting this intention and it's going to happen because I'm that powerful. But really what I find is that your higher self, the universe, even has ways to the things that you want beyond what you know and around your limitations. So sometimes it's not even, when it comes to money, I feel like it's a good idea to get rid of your limiting beliefs around it first,
Mm-hmm.
or really work on them, because you may manifest the money and lose it if you still have an idea in your head that I'm not worthy or there's never enough. So it wouldn't matter if you manifest 15,000 or 100,000 or a million. If your belief is that there's never enough, you will be in a circumstance where it's not enough. You will attract certain bills. You will attract losing it. You will do something wrong that forces you to lose that money.
Yeah.
And
my thing is always feeling like there's never enough. I think that's pretty common.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And that's something that is a subconscious belief. This is something that we're taught from children, that, our parents telling us, you think money grows on trees, you think I'm made of money, there's not enough for that, being in the struggle, seeing that there's not enough. But really when it comes to it, it's just about believing more in your power and than what you've seen and what you've known, and knowing that everything that what you've seen is only because that's what you were believing, that's what you were taught. So you can teach yourself something else and know something else. But what I was going to say is that really an easy way to manifest not only money, but anything is to follow your joy. Set the intention and follow your joy, follow your impulses, because the universe is going to guide you to whatever you want.
Right.
It wants to do that. It wants you to have it. Because it's doing this through you. And when you it's kind of funny because you think it's the money that you want, but one, it's the feeling that you want that the money's going to give you, the freedom, the ability to do what you want when you want, the feeling of accomplishment. But you will find those feelings. You will maybe create a business. You will maybe something will happen, right. But what it will cause you to expand. And that's why the universe put that desire in you in the first place, because it wants to expand. It wants to know more, to be more, to feel more, to have more. It wants to experience this humanness that we are. And so when we have our desires, we think it's about the desire, but the desire causes us to expand.
Yeah.
And that's what the universe really wants. So when you follow those impulses, and the thing is about it, is that the impulse most of the time is not something that you would recognize, that, oh, this is God talking to me, or, oh, especially if you're not used to tuning into your intuition.
Yeah, it'll be very subtle. It'll be
right.
very subtle.
Very subtle. And the more that you kind of don't listen to your intuition, the more subtle it gets. Yeah. The more you listen, the louder and clearer it gets to you that and it doesn't matter how silly it is, you follow that intuition, you follow that impulse, and it leads you to something that 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 leads you to exactly what you want.
Yeah. So I'm pretty, I'm a developing medium, I'm developing psychic medium. So I have been following my intuition for quite some time now. So the little nudges and the little impulses, they've started off, Martine, start a blog, then start a podcast, then learn tarot, teach yourself tarot, do readings, and give people readings and do it here, and it's just the little impulses keep leading. They're like little breadcrumbs. And it's funny in a way, but it can really sometimes drive you crazy. I know for a few times I wanted to give up.
Yeah.
Developing my gifts and developing my mediumship and stuff like that. And I'm like, is this even really worth it? But I can't give up. Even when I feel like I want to, it'll just be like a few days that I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore. But I can't, because I always find my way back to, practicing or, trying to develop my gifts and doing, the podcast and doing these things that I really like. So I think that when you're really in tune and with your intuition, you really just can't give up. It won't let you.
Yeah.
It won't let you.
Yeah. I love that. And I agree with that. And I think it's funny you say that, because I just went through that myself, where I felt like I just wanted to give up manifesting,
Oh, I watched that video of you. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I'd never felt like that.
Yes.
all the years that I was manifesting, I just love manifesting so much. I love knowing that there's more to life. And I love knowing that life is basically like clay in your hands, that you can create anything that you want. But what I realized when I did give it up, so many things manifested for me. So many things are continuing to manifest for me. And it's not even that you need to give up your dream, but give up the struggle. Give up the need to prove yourself through something, or to prove worthiness with something, or something like that. Give it, what you want to give up is the struggle, but continue to pursue the things that you love, continue to do the things that feel good. And that's what following your intuition and following your impulses, following your joy. That's why I said that initially, because your joy, when you're doing something that feels good, it's almost like when something resonates with you and you get those goosebumps all over your body, it's because it rings true inside. When you're feeling joy, when you're feeling happy, you're basically in agreement with your inner being, with your higher self. You're on the path, the lit up path. Something Abraham Hicks talks about. My best friend mentioned it to me the other day, and I love that idea of a path that's lit for us. I mean, we have free will. We can go anywhere. We can do anything in this world that we want to do. But there is a path of most joy. There is a path of highest expression. You can be on that path by being mindful of, how am I feeling when I do this versus that? And when it comes to, being an entrepreneur, a lot of times we do what we think we should do, because this is what logically makes sense. This is what I think I should do. But your intuition is telling you to do something else. And we're like, I don't want to do that. I don't know about that. I don't see how that correlates. And then we continue.
We do it because we see someone else who is doing what we're doing, do that,
Yes. But really tuning into your internal guidance is what really leads you to where you need to be, because your path is not everyone's path, So, but giving up the struggle, there's so much power in that. And what I learned from that is that I don't have to try to be worthy, that I'm just worthy because I'm here, that God wants to bless us because God wants to bless us, not because he, feels like you got enough check marks or enough gold stars this week, but he just wants to bless you because you're here. And so when you let go of that pressure and that need to be something more, be worthy or deserving for everything that's coming in, just accept that I was worthy the moment that I existed. It allows you to just be so much more free, and it allows you to follow your joy easier, because there's not so much push and pull between, well, I have to do this because I have to get this outcome so that I can feel worthy, so that I can get all my blessings, instead of, I'm just going to do what source tells me to do today. I'm just going to do what the universe tells me to do. I'm just going to tune in. I'm going to become present, and I'm going to follow those impulses and do I'm going to see where that leads me. And it always leads you somewhere great.
Yes, I definitely agree. We all have like personal stories, that kind of things that happen that kind of awaken us to our higher selves and awaken us to our spiritual side, manifestation, all of these different things that are, that are out here for us at our, at our fingertips. What is your personal story that you kind of opened, the door, to the spiritual door for you and into manifestation?
Well, it really feels like it was just kind of like a divine timing thing, where things just started to come to me from kind of every direction, leading me to that path. But what I was going through was anxiety. I had really intense anxiety, kind of like my whole life. I remember being even a young child, and I didn't know what it was then, but I was having panic attacks where I would be afraid to go to sleep because I just had this feeling that I was going to die. And so I would be like, oh my God, can I go sleep with my sister or my mom or something? But that anxiety went throughout my life, and I just had anxiety. I had very, very, very low self-esteem. I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. I dealt with depression. I dealt with all these things. And one day, in the midst of an anxiety attack, I just realized, like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want, my head feels like it's going to explode. I don't want to feel like this. I need to figure out something. how to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
I remember also deciding I didn't want to be sad anymore. I used to literally walk with my head down like this, and people would ask me, like, why do you walk with your head down like that? And I'd be like, oh, I'm just watching where I'm going,
Right.
and then I really asked myself, though, why do I walk with my head held down? Like, I might not like myself, but I'm not going to wake up and be someone else. I need to learn how to be me and be okay with being me. And so like I said, it kind of came from every direction. Like, I was in school, so I was in a religion class. We learned about Buddhism, and something about it really resonated with me. Mindfulness, meditation. I
Yeah.
came to meditation dealing with anxiety, and that it just helped me so much. And I just never stopped. Well, no, I did stop, actually. I meditated for a while. I stopped for a few months, and I saw how my life started to go down. Like, my
Mm-hmm.
anxiety started to pick back up. And I saw that meditation is not something that you just do and it's just a quick fix. It's something that you really put into your life every day, taking time to come to stillness. My best friend, actually, she was one of the big parts of my awakening. She had an awakening, a very
Okay.
more dramatic awakening than mine was. And she would share her thoughts with me. And I remember her sending me a text, and she said, do you know you're creating your reality? And I just had this feeling wash over me of, whoa, like, I'm creating my reality. And I thought to myself in that moment, the only thing that would make this moment better is this guy was here, this guy I was dating at the time.
Right.
And immediately as I thought that, he texted me. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like, and it put it together for me, like, what she meant by your thoughts. That's what she said. Do you know your thoughts are creating your reality?
Right.
And it just put it together to me that, whoa, okay, I'm thinking things and it's happening. And I had so many friends, coworkers, just experiences. I had so many teachers just be kind of presented to me and come into my life.
Right.
And then, like I said, I just became obsessed with it immediately. So I really dove into reading and watching videos and meditating and all the spiritual stuff, and really immersed myself in that for a long time. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah. I feel like along my life, I had different points in time where I was introduced to different things and didn't really like when you said you got interested in meditation and you learned about Buddhism. I met someone at a job. I can't remember what job it was, but she was a coworker, and we became like really cool. And she told me that she was a Buddhist. And I was like, oh, that's not, I was raised Catholic, but I was also raised not to, my mom always made sure to like keep telling me, don't judge anyone else's faith. Like if they, because she really felt like there's different, faiths, but there's really one God. And it's just people choose different paths, and they're just all in that, all those paths lead to this one God, one source.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Can I, then I started buying books about Buddhism, and then I left it alone. And then I feel like I had different moments in time that I would take in some things just for it to get me through that time in my life, because I was like you, I had high anxiety too. And learning about Buddhism and learning about like how not to kind of, I forget the word that they use.
Suffering.
Yes. Boom. Yes, suffering, and how, suffering worked, and, and all of that. And it was just like this light bulb. And it just made me look at everything and everyone differently.
Yes.
Because then I was able to identify like, oh my God, like he's suffering. That person is suffering, and, and they really need to read this book. And so I feel like those times, whenever I got introduced to new things that were like, spiritual in a sense, it just propelled me, moved me forward into the next chapter of my life. And then about 3 years ago when I work in corporate America for a long time in publishing and stuff. And I lost my job. I got laid off. And my job was the only thing I had going on, honestly. I didn't have a blog, I didn't have a podcast, I didn't have any of this. So when I lost my job, it was like, what the hell am I going to do? And then that part just awakened all of this in me. And yeah, so that's why I feel like there's always something that happens that triggers the awakening for people. And
Yes.
if you sit down and really think about it, you're like, yeah, that thing happen. And then, then I was awakened.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and learning about self-care and things like that, these things I never knew about up until most recently. And
Yeah.
practicing self-care. What do you do to practice self-care?
Hmm. My answer is probably funny, but I sleep a lot. That is a great way to self-care for me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get caught up in your thoughts and you can't get out of them,
Mhm.
and sometimes taking a quick nap definitely helps reset for me.
Yeah.
Meditating, making sure that I meditate daily, that is probably my top self-care tip and my top self-care practice.
Me
Um,
too.
and just, I don't know, I listen to myself, I put myself first. And I was a person, because a lot of people, self-care, I'm glad that the world is becoming more compassionate and, self-care is becoming more popular. But a
Yes.
lot of people think that self-care is just about taking bubble baths and, getting your nails done. But self-care is about caring for yourself the way that you care for everyone else in your life. Um, Caring and being compassionate with yourself.
Mhm.
Listening to yourself when it talks to you. Listening to yourself. Listening to your body when it's telling you, hey, I need a break, rather than waiting until you're having a full-on mental breakdown, or having
Mhm.
your full-on in an illness, or listening to your energy when it tells you, I don't think this person is somebody that we can be around, whether it be a friend or a relationship, and honoring that, rather than,
Mhm.
but they need me, or, I'll put myself and my needs to the side to satisfy what someone else needs.
Right.
So I think, one of my other big self-care things is that I listen. And as a person growing up, I was a person that would do anything for anyone. I would bend over backwards for everybody in my life. And I would cross oceans for people that wouldn't jump puddles for me. And it comes from such a big hearted place. I know so many people, a lot of my clients are like that when
Mhm.
they come to me, and I just nip it in the bud very quickly, because although it's coming from a place of love initially, there's only so many times that you can put yourself to the side, not take care of yourself, put every single person on the planet before you become bitter and resentful.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, you're still in the habit of doing it. So you do it, but you do it with a heavy, heart. When I help
Mhm.
people, it feels good to me because I checked in with myself first and I made
Mhm.
sure my cup was full before I poured into theirs. And
Mhm.
because of that, I'm able to pour into others in a much more effective way, rather than trying to pour from a little bit of droplets, because I don't resource myself. So,
Right. That's interesting. So for your coaching business, right?
mhm.
How do what do you have going on in terms of your coaching business and coaching program and stuff like that?
So I'm starting my first group coaching program this August, on August 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited. I'm taking about 6 women just through the journey. And what the purpose of the program is we are going to manifest something that has seemed out of reach for them, whether it be a certain amount of money, a relationship, business, whatever it is. We're going to take them through the process of manifesting that. But in that, I'm going to teach them everything that there is to know about manifesting. Well, everything that I know about
Okay.
manifesting, so
Okay.
that they can not only, and that's why I love what I do. I love being a manifestation coach, because it's like, you get a business coach, you're going to learn about business, but that's it. You get a relationship coach, you're going to learn about relationships and, loving yourself, but that's that. But with manifesting is something that you can apply to any and every area in your life.
Right.
And that's why I focus on not just getting them the thing, but how the process is, so that when they leave my coaching program, they can take themselves through that process again and again and again. Because we are ever expanding beings, you're never going to stop having desires. You're not going to manifest something, even though whatever it is that, we want to manifest at this moment, it just seems like the ultimate all be all,
right.
But there's always a level
Everything,
after that.
Yeah.
And so my goal for my clients is to teach them to rely on their own power rather than anything outside of themselves, and to understand that their power is truly limitless, and that it doesn't matter what desire comes to them. It's meant to come into fruition, and that they absolutely have the capacity to do it. And my coaching program just gives them the tools to do that. And I like to say, I don't ever feel like anyone needs coaching in anything. You don't really need coaching, but if you want to speed up your results, then you do need coaching. You need someone who knows it. Like for me, I spent 7 years completely immersed in learning everything that I could come across about manifesting. So for me, I know the answer. I know how to get around certain blocks. I know how to, think of things. I know the tools and things that you should do or should not do. I can help clear some of that confusion. Even with a business, you can definitely do your business all alone. You can read all the books, do all the free seminars, do all the stuff, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to take you years. It's going to take you years. But for me, it's important for me to live that life, that I want to live as quickly as possible.
Right.
And that, to me, when you're ready to kind of skyrocket, like you're tired of kind of like trying to, looking around in the dark,
Red water. Yeah.
Right. It's like, that's when it's like, okay, let's get me a coach so that I can get some support and some help, and someone that has walked this path so that they can show me,
So if anyone that's listening or watching wanted to contact you, how would they do so?
So you can find me on Facebook. That's really where I am most of the time. I have a group called Master Manifestors. Manifestors is with the ERS at the end. Okay. And you can apply to join my group. You can just find me on Facebook, Olivia Grace. I also have a YouTube channel, which is also called Master Manifestors. You can find me through there. However, really through Messenger, you can reach out to me. But Facebook is where I kind of dwell. That's where my people are. So that's where I stay. And yeah, we can just set up a call and just see if it's a good fit, because I'm just being selective with the energy that I'm letting in. I want to make sure that everyone feels safe. I want to make sure that everyone is just among other people that are loving, and not anyone that's not loving, basically.
Anyone that's going to be like judgy or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can definitely resonate with that. Because not everyone understands. Everyone, when you're raised a certain way, like I told you, I was raised Catholic, and then I have some friends who are Christians and things like that. They don't get the whole manifestation thing. That's number one. Or even spiritual gifts and mediumship and all of that. They think that you're calling upon the devil or some evil spirits and things like that. So I definitely know about people being very judgy.
Yeah. And the judgmental people, what I really find is that all of our emotions, they start out of either fear or love. And so when you're fearful, which unfortunately is that's the kind of the foundation that a lot of religion is built off of, is of fear, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people being religious. I was raised Christian and went to church every week, twice a week. So I definitely know that mentality of really feeling like I'm looking out for your benefit. They don't see it as being judgmental. They see it as, I'm trying to save you from the pits of hell.
Right.
Because they really believe that, and But what I find is that when you do open your horizons and you can be love is very inclusive. It's not a you're over here and I'm over here and I'm
Mm-hmm.
better over here and you're worse over here. It's a we're all in this together. I'm not perfect, you are not perfect. But I am part of a divine perfect being and you are part of a divine perfect being. So no matter our differences, I can
Mm-hmm.
resonate and have compassion for you wherever you are in your journey. I can respect where you are in your journey, because I feel like when I moved from Christianity to spirituality, I
Mm-hmm.
became very judgmental of Christians, of religious people, and I looked down on a lot of them, like,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're talking about. And I guess I felt like I'd been lied to my whole life, like this isn't
Yes, that's how I
real.
feel
And
too. I
yeah,
was on the defensive.
hmm
I was
yeah.
on the defensive, and I was like, well, the book of songs is just the one big book of spells. Did you know that? Right?
Yeah. That kind of feeling of, well, let me show you something. Let me tell
Yes.
you what's really going on, right?
Yeah.
But then you see you're just like them. You be
Mm-hmm.
just like them, of that's the same thing they're trying to do. And it's, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Because you're like, I know, what you think you don't know. Let me tell you what I know. But
Right.
that's the same thing they're doing is, no,
Yeah.
we know,
Yeah.
let me tell you, instead of just this respect and compassion that I know what I know, it resonates with me, it works for me. You know what you know, it resonates with you, it works for you, and that's okay. We don't have to agree for me to respect where you are, who you are, So that's
Yeah.
just the compassion that comes out of acting out of love rather than of fear and separation.
Right. Right. So, what would be like your final message or a message that you want to put out to everyone, and anything that you want someone to take away from this conversation that we're having today?
My final message, what's coming through for me right now, is to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what's coming through for me right now. I've been really practicing being present and listening to what the universe wants me to say. And it wants me to tell everyone listening to let go, that you don't have to do anything to be deserving, that you are already deserving of everything that you want. It can absolutely happen for you. But when you let go, and it's not about giving up, like I said before, it's not about giving up your desires or giving up what you want. It's about letting go of the need to force it, letting go of the need of trying, of proving yourself, of defending yourself, of letting everybody know that, yes, I am good enough, yes, I have earned this, I went through the trenches, let go of
Mm-hmm.
all of that, and just
Mm-hmm.
connect back to your worthiness, connect back to your source, heal your inner child, and follow your joy, and you will absolutely arrive at your desires. So it's an inevitable thing. It's a done deal when
Yeah.
you let go.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. That's a perfect message. Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed this. I love talking about manifesting, and I enjoyed this.
Yeah. So everyone, we're going to wrap up this episode here. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please join me for another episode of Martine's Musings next week. And I'm going to say so long to everyone and see you soon. See you in the next episode. Take care.